This is homemade berry soda. I just wanted to feel fancy today. Delicious. Hi, I'm Stacy. I'm a geologist pursuing a career as a fantasy oil painter, and this is my current painting. So because I'm me, and if I'm really interested in something, I do it at 1,000%. I am currently taking the entirety of Morte D'Arthur and kind of rewriting it with my own interpretation. It's just some Cliff Notes versions, but I have dates, I have historic events, because I'm using the fall of Rome in the 5th century as kind of the backdrop of the stories that I want to tell. And I'm hardly the first person who's ever done something like this, but I'm doing it specifically so that I can do a whole bunch of King Arthur paintings. But I still want them to chronologically make sense. Now, because this doesn't have everything, there are, was it the Vulgate Chronicles? There's a couple of extra poems. I am trying to get that material too, but the majority of what I'm interpreting does come from Morte D'Arthur. I'm also adding my own kind of backstories to things, especially with the women, because they're not really talked about. They just kind of exist. Some of them have decent storylines. I mean, even the main characters don't have a ton of depth in the way that we would think of it today. But I think the good thing with that is that I can read it and gain one thing from it, and then someone else might have a completely different interpretation. And that's one of the beauties of stories like these that last throughout time, is that everyone has their own versions of the story. And I'm just sharing mine. I'm testing out doing a more informal kind of explanation of my story and my process, because social media is exhausting and I'm still trying to figure out my style without burning myself out. So I'm gonna try a yap session. So today what I want to talk about is these guys, the riders that are going after Lancelot and Lancelot's parents. Who are they? Why are they pursuing Lancelot's parents? Where did they come from? So they are a small faction of Claudas's army. So a quick recap. Bors and Ban are brothers. This is Ban. He and his brother have territory in what's now northwestern France. And Claudas is a neighboring chieftain who wants to get that territory for himself. Now, King Arthur came over and helped the brothers to push back Claudas, but Claudas wasn't killed. So he was able to regroup and he was able to launch an attack on Ban's territory. This is following just after that attack where Ban is mortally wounded, and they are ensuring that Lancelot is able to live by giving him to one of the ladies of the lake. So since my interpretation takes place mostly in the 5th century, this is a very turbulent time in Gaul, modern day France. And there are 3 main invaders into Gaul at that time, and it's the Franks, the Visigoths, and the Burgundians. Based on where Bors and Ban's territory is, which is in the northwest, their biggest threat would be the Franks. But the Franks weren't one unified country. They were a bunch of different fiefdoms or tribes, villages, that all just kind of had a similar type of culture from the way that I understand it. And a lot of what we would consider to be the Franks were part of the Roman army. So the way that I interpret Claudas is that he was a Frank who served in the Roman army, was trained there, came back to his home, and established himself as the leader and commander of his home. And these guys are part of his cavalry. So as you can see from the sketches that I first did when I was creating these characters, no one really has the same outfit on. From the way that I understand it, this wasn't a time, other than with the Romans, that everyone had a uniform. It was basically use what you found or what you could afford. And so that's why everyone has a little bit of a different look. So this scene would have been after Ban was mortally wounded, but he's doing his best to hold it together until he succumbs to his wounds. And these guys are following because Claudas would want either proof that Ban is dead or for them to ensure that he gets killed. So this guy right here, he is the captain. The way that I see him is he's an older guy. He's one of the elders of the community. He does not like Claudas, but he's loyal to his people. So he continues to fight and lead because of that loyalty. Now the 2 torchbearers, they're young guys. They were in the Roman army with Claudas and they liked him. They thought he was cool, and when he left to go back to his home, they just followed along because Rome was crumbling anyways and they wanted a new adventure. So they're just kind of along for the ride. Now these 2 are trouble. These 2 like to kill, but I'll start with her. She is someone with a restlessness. She does like the power that comes from being feared. To me, she's someone who who maybe was a natural fighter and had a lot of ambition. So he's a full-on psychopath. He likes to kill, he likes to cause chaos, he likes to be in danger, and that is why I made him have no armor, no saddle. He's riding super close to the edge of that cliff. This is the way that he's able to feel something. And he's also the one who mortally wounded man. So I'll give away the ending of the story. It's not a happy ending, but they do eventually catch up with Lancelot's parents. At this point, Lancelot is safe. He's raised by the Lady of the Lake, which is why he's known as Lancelot du Lac. So it's not a particularly happy story, but it is a very formative one for Lancelot. And the way that I've known him is that he's known for two things. He's known for being a part of the quest for the Holy Grail and having an affair with Guinevere. And when I first started reading Morte D'Arthur, I thought that he was actually a little bit boring, but the more that I got into it, he's a very fascinating character with a lot more depth. So that was something that I wanted to explore, starting with his origin story. And this is also connected to Arthur's origin story because Bors and Ban did help Arthur during his War of Succession. And so that's just a little bit about the backstory and the inspiration that I have for this one. Don't worry, I have an entire world in my head that I can explain more as I go along. So if you like this, follow along, more stories to come, and I'll see you when I clock out.